Yes, guys, it's Suki from BTS TV, Beyond the Stage, fueled by Explosive Ape and GSN. And today is our first episode of our natural. I haven't come up with a name of it yet. I haven't got a name. Emily's going to be my co-host. So we've got Emily. Jack Chan can't make it yet. He's away on holiday for the next 2 weeks. So we thought I would rope in two of my guests, two of the natural competitors that won the male and female natural athlete of the year under BTS TV. The first person, Ben, I can't go through all your shows. All I know is if there was a pro show going on, you either won the overall, you won your class, or you placed in top three. But what I do know is that you have to have the absolute stormer of a year, competing all over the world. Our first guest is our male natural athlete of the year, Ben Lloyd. Ben, you all good, mate?
Yeah, good. I was just saying to you before you press record that I'm feeling a lot better now that I'm not dieting. It's about 6 weeks after I finished my diet, on a slightly higher food now and a bit more body fat. So, yeah, better mood.
And also on the bottom left, I mean, look, I feel like you've done 2,000 shows in that. I don't even know. I feel like you've been 21 for 10 years, but I know you competed when you were 12 years old. You did about 500 shows in 2024. You got another few more pro cards to add to the list, add to the many medals, and I'm pretty sure that shelf surely can't justify all the trophies you've got. But I know there's many more. Because I know you got a big one from me back in June.
Yeah, that
one's at the NFM. Yeah, exactly. That can't be too far away. But of course, Nat had another stormer of the year, no surprise, and also she won our female natural athlete of the year, going off especially what she did at the WNBF Worlds. So, Nat, Ben, welcome to the first episode of the. Emily, you're gonna have to come up with a name for this one.
I will think of something.
Yeah, we need a name.
Good.
But yeah, basically every week we're going to do an episode focusing on natural bodybuilding, not just the UK, but also look at the international scene. And I'm going to co-host in Emily and Jack Chan. So Emily, IFBB Pro, of course, very much known on the natural scene for her coaching business. And of course, no doubt 2025 is going to be a major year for you because you've got 9 federations in the UK that are hosting natural shows.
Crazy.
And of course, yeah, man. And Jack Chan, when he's back from holiday, we'll get him back on board and we'll be doing loads of stuff going into 2025, not just competitors, but judges, promoters, everything. However, I'm going to try and speak less. I'm going to leave it to you guys today. We're going to focus on the 2025 scene. So I already mentioned, and that you may have missed at the start, but I already mentioned at the start, 9 federations in the UK are hosting natural shows in 2025, which is absolutely mental. Mm-hmm. And I know the natural scene is absolutely booming. It can only be a great thing for competitors, and it's kind of making natural bodybuilding really cool in a way, which it's always been. So we're going to start with the first federation. I'm really keen to hear everyone's thought process on each federation I go through. Give me your feedback about what we can expect in 2025. Emily, I'm going to start with you first. Because let me bring up the page, the first one, and this is something I posted a few weeks ago, and that is, of course, NPC. The Two Bros announced their schedule, and we can already see quite a few natural shows lined up. That's it. So, Emily, talk to me about what you think we can expect from the NPC, because we already know Fit Model Division has launched. There's obviously to compete at the Ben Weider, which you've competed there twice now. You now need to win your pro class to qualify. So talk to me about what you think, what your thoughts go into, well, obviously not competing, but what are your thoughts for the NPC going into 2025?
I'm so excited because not only obviously we've got even more natural shows this year, which is phenomenal. Like obviously we have got a natural pro qualifier at the end of year, and there is a natural pro qualifier mid-year now as well, which is amazing. Like to have 2 opportunities to win a pro card naturally within the UK now is just insane. Like that is insane. But now we've also got this Fit Model Division. I think that that's an incredible opportunity for natural athletes to then go into open shows and have more potential to be competitive within open shows, because obviously like when we're going into the natural shows for Two Bros, IFBB, and whatnot, and we're going into bikini, like for us females, we're obviously going in because it's natural, it's more attainable for us as natties, but then that does limit the amount of shows we can do as a whole. Whereas now we've got this fit model division as well. I think that opens up even more of the shows as a whole for natural athletes, because I think we've got more potential to maybe be competitive in an open show as an natty.
Nat, I want to go over to you because I don't believe that you believe in off season or years out. You just seem to be competing if there's a show going on the weekend, you'll be there more likely. Have you got any plans with the NPC, do you think, in 2025?
So funny you should say that. I am actually planning on taking next year out, most likely. I
don't believe you.
So,
don't believe you. I'll have a word with your mum.
I hate years out. I did take one last year, and well, not last year, 2023. And I hate like not being able to compete, but it's needed sometimes, especially as a natty. I mean, so kind of back in the day, my big goal was to win an IFBB Pro card, but then the way bikini was moving, and the way the like standard was changing and how muscular and lean and stuff the girls were becoming, I knew that then once I was in the pro league, I realistically would have absolutely no chance of being competitive. And because you can then only compete with the IFBB Pro League, and I clearly love competing, I didn't want to then get into a position where I just would be realistically near the bottom of the pack, because I'm not willing to be enhanced. So that was kind of why I stopped competing with the NPC, because this was my first season where I didn't compete with them. And as Emily said, like now that there is this fit model category, I think it does give those natural bikini girls more of a chance to be competitive. I would like to see in the future, because I don't really want to go into the fitness model category. Bikini is where I think I fit best. It's where I belong and I want to stay there. So I do hope that in the future there's going to be, as they've alluded to, is that there will be more natural shows all over the world where the IFBB pros who are natural can still remain in bikini, because it's great that there's that fitness model category, but at the same time it is a different category, and I do still think I belong in bikini. And so I wouldn't say I have any concrete plans to go back to the NPC until I think that pro natural scene with them is really booming, because yeah, I want to stay in bikini basically, if that makes sense.
Ben, I'm keen to hear your thoughts here, because you've competed with a lot of natural federations, not just in the UK, but all over the world. So with NPC now investing a lot of time and money and attention into the natural scene, and we're seeing it grow, not just in the UK, but across the world. Do you think that NPC, the natural scene, could take over as the number one place to be for a natural competitor? Can you hear your thoughts about in that common question we're hearing a lot?
Well, there's still work to be done. It's relatively new. I'd say for me, the main drug-free federations for a few years have been like the UKDFBA, the BNBF, and the WNBF, and there's lots of the other federations offering it now. I suppose there's work to be done, but isn't it 3 years drug-free for NPC?
Years. Yeah.
Which I think it might be popular, but for people like myself, it's a bit off-putting. I think it should be longer. I actually think it should be lifetime drug-free for all of the federations myself. But yeah, for a drug-free competitor, knowing that, I think it might put people off a little bit.
Yeah, I know there don't look like be any plans in regards to changing that ruling. What I do understand, and I haven't spoke to Becky, for one of the judges over in America, she did speak about that. One thing they will be doing, and I know Ty Mannion also alluded to it on the most recent videos, is that they are continually learning and investing into more testing procedures. So though it looks like 3 years will be strict, they're going to try and absolutely execute every possible testing process to ensure that, you know what, 3 years are ruled, but we're going to make sure that there's nobody is going to, nothing's going to get missed. We're not going to risk anyone who is not being tested thoroughly. So yeah, look forward to see how this one all plays out. But once again, Two Bros got a number of NPC show natural regionals in the UK. And Emily, am I right to assume probably the finals or their pro qualifier for UK lot, the closest one for us will be in France, I imagine, same as last year?
Oh God, I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. I ain't got a clue.
Which is waiting to hear now
Yeah.
from them and
I
see
think there's
what
still some. Sorry, I think there's still some things that are waiting to be announced.
Yeah, I think so. Well, look, I think one thing that was announced recently, and Ben, I'll throw it to yourself here, is BNBF. They've thrown in the dates. So we've got 4 dates. We're waiting for the British finals. I know there's a lot of natural coaches, similar to like yourselves, Emily, who are kind of waiting on all the natural federations to put their dates out. It looks like now we have got all the dates for all the natural shows. So BNBF have dropped in the 4 days. We are waiting for the finals. It's interesting to see a lot of these dates are all back to back. Especially the first 2 1 week away, which I know BNBF normally does that kind of thing. So, Ben, keen to hear your thoughts about what we could expect from BNBF going into the 2025 season.
Well, it's always a really good standard. I've competed in all the federations. BNBF was the first federation I competed in. And, the pro lineups are always like really special for the BNBF. Obviously, they don't offer men's physique, so it's more like bodybuilding. And they do some really good shows. I think they've got the qualifiers, whereas the other federations are just basically doing finals. Just always a really good atmosphere, great stage lighting, and just a really good standard across the board. It seems to be getting better every year.
And that's a really good point you just made, because for all the federations who are just natural federations, only BNBF have got regionals. Of course, when you look at PCA, who do both untested and tested, they've got their own qualifiers for their natural British finals. But as a natural federation, BNBF are the only ones to actually have qualifiers, which I guess really, would that make the BNBF their British finals as the as a natural federation, the main British finals for a natural competitor chooses to compete at natural federations only? I mean, what's your thoughts there, Emily?
I don't think so. I think it's obviously a great federation to compete with as a natural, but I think you want to be open to numerous different federations to compete with and different finals and whatnot, and see again where your physique fits. Because like for me personally, like all the other federations I competed with, I was always testing the waters to see where I fit, and a lot of them were open federations, not just natural. So
yeah, no, I think I'm looking forward to seeing how BNBF play out. And also, Ben, I mean, you could just drop me a bit of knowledge as well. Obviously, their international affiliation is with DFAC. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you competed at the Worlds, right?
I didn't do it last year. I didn't do the World Final, but I have done the 2016 World Finals, and the standard now is much better than it were then. That's where I actually won my pro card. And yeah, so I mean, I was quite lucky. I think on the day the standard wasn't great, so I got my pro card. But if you look at last year's World Finals with Julian and Rob and Daniel, it's a really good standard. So yeah, it's a really good world final now compared to previously, and yeah, just a great federation overall.
Absolutely, mate. Okay, Nat, let me go through to yourself on this one. I know, obviously, Ben, you've got your experience with BNBF, but WNBF, obviously, they got you got the Supernatural. You got your first timers novice show, so 2 shows this year. So first timers novice in July the 13th, I believe. I just think they've just changed their location and date due to get a bigger venue. And the Supernaturals in the UK in September is now a weekend event, not just a one-day show, which I know obviously there was some criticism in their most recent Supernatural show. In fact, the pro show went on till about 1 a.m. But it's great to see a federation that is self-aware and jump into it and make the changes. And look, it's going to cost them more money to have a show over a weekend, but fair play to them. Nat, are you excited to see what happens with WNBF going into 2025?
Yeah, I'm super excited. I think I've competed obviously with a lot of federations over the years, and WNBF was the first. I've done natural shows with the NPC, but the WNBF was the first tested federation that I did, and honestly, Steph does an absolutely incredible job at running the federation. I was. Yes, it went on for. I did the Supernaturals, and yes, it went on for a long time into the night. I was obviously in the overall, which I won. So I was there. I was there all day. But you can see that she's taken that feedback on board, and she's doing what's best for the athletes, and putting so much time and effort and investment into the federation. And I will say, although the show ran over. It ran over because Steph was not willing to sacrifice the stage time that people got. She was not willing to sacrifice everyone being given an opportunity to show off what they've worked for. And I've done quite a few shows that have run over in the past. And as it tends to be, bikini was always at the end. And what would happen is that we would be rushed. We wouldn't be given basically any time on stage, any time to do a routine. It was just like on, off, and you're waiting there all day to get 20 seconds on stage and do one quarter turn. So I think I would rather, although it is a long day, if you're prepared, you should be prepared for that as a competitor. Shows can run over. It's just the way it is. But I think if you're kind of prepared for that, you're getting the stage time you deserve, you're getting what you've worked so hard for. And if you really enjoy the day and soak it in and chat to everyone, I have honestly found my people in the WNBF and just the natural scene. I've met so many people in 2024 who have the same mindset that I do. And yes, I've met a lot of lovely people through my 6 years of competing, but I really feel like I resonate with my fellow natties on another level. And I think Steph just really does a good job at kind of trying to foster that community and foster that importance of being a natural athlete. And she's doing a really, really good job with what she's doing, and I'm excited to see where she's going to take it and keep improving it. And it's really exciting to see that she's making it a 2-day event, because it's really going to be an opportunity for natural athletes to show off what they've worked for, and it's going to be a really cool event for people to come spectate as well. So it's very exciting.
Definitely. Emily, on the coach standpoint, did you have many competitors compete with the WNBF in 2024?
No, I didn't actually, and it isn't a federation any of my current team have really looked at doing. A lot of them are more focused on the two bros, the PCA as well being a big one this year. Those are the ones that they kind of look at a little bit more. I think what I tend to find is my girls want to be able to stand up in open shows as well. So it's great that we've got so many natural opportunities, but I think there are not just my girls, but I think there is a lot of natural athletes, and I was in one of those who wanted to stand up in open shows as well and be able to be competitive. So my team, we haven't looked primarily at WNBF yet, but especially with a 2-day event, I think it's just something that it just appeals because there's so much consideration for the athletes, especially when they've had a previously really, really long day before. You've got to consider things like holding on to condition, how your physique's affected by the stress of a long day. So the fact that they're carrying it out over 2 days now, taking into consideration the athletes, I think it just makes sense. But yeah, I'll definitely look at that for my clients because I've seen it before. The federation looks mint.
I will say this: out of all the natural federations, I would say that the WNBF are really on point when it comes to social media the presentation when it comes to the stage production. I mean, look, BMBF stage production has been phenomenal, and I love the lighting and the photos. But WMBF, the first time is another show. They were doing regular interviews, the partnership with CMP to give another angle to get more video content out on the day in real time. And anyone that knows me knows I love real-time content to go out for shows. You've been doing all the work, 12 weeks, the entire year, build up to a show. Make sure you get your work, get everything nailed on the day in regards to social media content. Is somebody clicking in the background? I can hear something clicking, or is it me?
I think it's you.
How is it? I was like, I'm checking around.
No,
I
I
haven't got my
can't
dog around me.
hear anything. I think it like.
Okay. But look, all in all, I think Steph did a great job with WMBF. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with 2025. First timers novice show was my 2024 show of the year for Natural Federation, which obviously I put out in 2024. And it's great to see the weekend, the WMBF Supernatural is over a weekend. And I agree to all the points that Nat just mentioned. Ben, I'm gonna jump to you on this one. And the next one is the UK DFBA. And as a Natural Federation, I believe they've been running the longest. Is that right?
Well, I didn't even know about all the federations when I first competed. I just knew about the BMBF, so I was completely ignorant to what was out there. So probably about the equal amount of time.
Look, we've seen the dates come out, and we've obviously got the first timers. The Heart of England show, which was a very busy show in 2024. I know that was in conjunction with MBW. Open UK Championships on the 20th and 21st of September. So another love seeing weekend events. And of course, the big one. And Ben, I'm going to throw it to you yourself here, mate. The big one that I know a lot of people are excited about is the Amateur Pro International Championships in partnership with MBW. Obviously, your coach, AJ Morris. We're expecting an expo, prize money, loads of things happening at this event. Ben, am I right to assume this is probably one of the shows you're most looking forward to in 2025?
Well, it's an exciting one with AJ in control. I think he's already mentioned getting the AMBF production crew doing it, where they have the drones and things like that. And knowing AJ, he'll put everything into it. It'll be a top show. It'll attract a lot of good athletes, no doubt. And yeah, so I think a lot of people, will look to compete in that federation as well as the others. And yeah, just excited to see how it looks.
Emily, have you come across much about obviously the UK DFBA going in 2025? Because obviously I reported on this announcement because I knew this was going to be a big one. Obviously MBW, AJ doing a huge amount of work on the natural scene in regards to content and the MBW community is built. So this announcement of an MBW international show that's going to draw athletes from all over the UK, probably Europe and the world. This could be a spectacle for natural athletes.
I remember seeing the NBW content begin to come up on my feed, like, God, I can't even remember now, a couple of years ago or so, and automatically like being drawn into that as a natural athlete, because it is something that I do find lacks on social media at times, is that kind of knowledge and information for natties. So to see this, like to see them invest like this collaboration as well, and for it to be something that's going to be so big, I think it's going to be a really, really good event. Like it's genuinely really exciting.
And this is one where I know AJ's already mentioned that he'll be having an expo there as well. So knowing how invested he is, and Ben, you'll know more about AJ than any of us, but knowing how invested he is into the natural scene, I can only assume it's going to be a lot of exciting announcements to come lead up to this weekend, which only illustrates my point of how exciting and booming the natural industry is in the UK, let alone all over the world. Nat, our PCA pro. Yeah. Well, there was no surprise. I was already predicting this long ago that they were going to come into the natural scene, and they did last year. And no surprise, they've obviously announced 4 regionals and a British championships. So let me throw to yourself, Nat, as a PCA pro, you competed in numerous PCA shows. I've seen plenty of PCA trophies behind you earlier. How excited are you about the PCA going to the natural scene bigger and better than ever before in 2025.
Yeah, it's super duper exciting. And actually, last year when I was planning my season, which ended up being a very long season that I wasn't expecting, the first show that I had on my radar was the first PCA natural show that happened last year. So I was actually registered for that, and then I won my PCA pro card at the Universe a few weeks before, so I couldn't actually end up doing it because I was a pro at that point. But I think it's so exciting that there's so many opportunities now for natural athletes to compete, and not just with natural federations, but for the untested federations to be doing natural shows is just really cool. And it's clear how many people are excited about natural bodybuilding because of the scale of what the PCA are doing. Like, there's so many qualifiers, and then there's a British finals, and it's just really cool for natural athletes to be able to then turn pro. And I'm hoping that eventually there'll be natural pro shows as well, because I would love to see that. And I just think it's really cool to see, and also how quickly it's grown, because realistically, like, I mean, the first natural show they did was last year, and now they've got so many qualifiers and a British finals. Like, that's just insane to see. And I know that I think one of the qualifiers is already like 55% full or something, and it's just the start of the year. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see who comes to these shows and the level of athletes, because I have to say that the standard, I was shocked, because when I did the WMBF show, I was not expecting the standard that was at that show, and it really cemented to me that there's so many fierce natural competitors who are on a level that untested competitors aren't. Like, a lot of untested competitors, like the conditioning you get, like the preparedness going into a show, you don't see that with a lot of untested athletes. So I'm just really excited to see if that standard is also going to translate over to these PCA shows, and I really hope it does. And I really hope people don't just use that as an excuse to not bring their A game and not come conditioned and stuff like that, because as a natural, that's so important. Like, because we don't have necessarily the level of muscle mass that maybe some other competitors have who aren't tested. It's so important to be bringing that conditioning, bringing that posing, just being on point, and hopefully we'll see a lot of really good competitors in these PCA shows and all natural shows in the UK next year. This year. So
definitely. I think, look, when they announced their natural show, it was no surprise they picked it in June in 2024, because you already had UKDFBA had their NBW show just about a couple of weeks before that. But WMBF, first time as novice show, was only a week later. So it was perfect timing. If you're a natural competitor, you had these three big shows to be part of. So I wasn't surprised about the record numbers they were showcasing. And it only looked like a natural route that, given the success, they were going to do some regionals and have a British finals next year, as in 2025. But completely agree, Nat. I'm more interested about, okay, that's great. You got this, and you're offering pro cards. But does that mean you're now going to enter the PCA pro scene with natural pro shows as well? So I'm looking forward to see how this one plays out. And no doubt, with the infrastructure that Ryan already has with PCA, personally, I think a lot of people also agree that the PCA could probably take over on the UK scene where it comes from the natural side, because of the infrastructure they have, the social media, the presence already. But what I'm also excited is to see how the other federations react. And we've already seen WMBF doing a weekend event, UKDFBA doing a lot more with MBW. I'm sure BMBF will be doing more, and all the other federations. So that's what makes this 2025 exciting, that now the bar keeps raising on a production and on the federation standpoint. As an ex-promoter, maybe by myself, that's why I'm really excited to see how it plays out. Ben, this is a new one, buddy. I think you'll probably give us more insight on this. OCB are bringing a UK show. I believe, because they did change the date recently. I'm going to try and see if I can try and bring a post here. But I don't know if it's September or October. But have you come across OCB much? I know they do a lot over in America.
No, I've not. I suppose it's only a good thing. The more federations out there just drives up the standard of the shows. The actual shows have got to be competitive. They've got to attract good athletes, and ultimately, as a competitor, you want to be up against the best. So potentially, if there's too many federations, you're not going to do all the shows. So I suppose, the more federations that there are, the more options there are. It could be, I don't know, it could reduce the standard a little. I don't know. You just want to pick the best shows, really. But it will also drive up the standard it puts pressure on all the federations to deliver a really good show. But I've not really heard much of the OTB.
Well, I know as a natural show, it'll be the only natural show taking place in London. I think, you know what, I might correct myself there, because the WBF first time as another show, I believe they've changed their venue to a London show. However, this is a qualifier for the Yorton Cup. And just in case you guys don't know, the Yorton Cup is the OCB's, that's their Olympia, their world finals. And they give these massive championship belts, big prize money. So there is an incentive for people that if they are competing with OCB in UK, that they could qualify for the Yorton Cup. I'm not sure what that includes in regards to funding, or is it you pay your own wage, just a bit like the WBF Worlds and other shows like that. So I'm interested to see how this plays out for OCB. But October the 18th is when they introduce their first UK show in a natural scene. Emily, have you done much with UKUP? Because of course they run natural shows as well, and we've got their dates, some of their dates.
Yeah, so I I think I've had maybe 3 or 4 UKU Pro cards, UKUP Pro cards now with my athletes, and they're obviously all natural, but these have been in open shows. I do think UKUP is a great federation to compete in as a natural, and it's open. So them having a natural show as well is obviously fantastic, because then it's a exclusive opportunity for naturals to compete with them too. I went to their natural show last year, and the standard was crazy good. I went to quite a few UKUP shows last year, and I actually think that the standard was probably one of the best, if I do say so myself, at the natural show, which was incredible. But it's great to see that they're doing exactly the same this year, and they're popping in another natural show. I really love that all of the federations are working around the same sort of time frame as well for the natural shows, because obviously it's easier for us to then maintain our kind of look and our muscle and our condition, because obviously if you're wanting to do multiple shows throughout the year and they're all dotted around different places, that's when we're going to start compromising some of that muscle mass.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we're just waiting for the date for UK Ultimate Naturals Open Championships. They put down October, November, so just wait for the confirmed dates. But of course, a special year for UKUP is also their 10th year anniversary, just like the PCA. Nat, I won't jump to yourself, mate. Oh, yeah.
I have to say quickly that UKUP was the second federation I ever competed. It was the second show I ever did. And then a couple of years later, I won the overall in the pro show at the British finals, and I got to go to the WABA Universe. And Glenn and Wes, who run the UKUP, are so lovely. And I always recommend UKUP to people who are kind of wanting to try out competing and they're not sure if it's for them, because the shows are they're well run and they're so friendly. They're very not low pressure, but just a really friendly atmosphere. Like there's no kind of negativity or bitchiness or stuff like that. Like it's just people backstage having a really good time, making friends, and you get a good amount of time on stage. You get to put in a little note that they say about you, and it feels like a little family to me. Like I really love UKUP, and I can't speak highly enough about them, and it's so exciting that they now have natural shows and those opportunities for natural, so it's very exciting to see.
Yeah, it's no surprise you mentioned that you won an overall title with UKP, because, well, I mean, what federations have you not won an overall title? It's and a pro card, so shocked that you mentioned that. Okay, look, FMC. I just wanted to fly through the last two because, of course, but not the they have other shows as well, but of course they have FMC have their own natural show. Nat, have you done FMC before?
I haven't actually. One of the few federations I haven't done. But I do know a couple of. I do know a couple of people that have competed with them, and from what I've seen, it's mostly positive experiences. So, so I think it's again really exciting that so many people are jumping on, so many federations are jumping on the bandwagon and giving athletes those opportunities.
So they got their show on the 31st of May, the Natural Fitness Universe. And the last one, I'm just going to finish on very quickly. I'm not sure if they've announced the dates yet, and that's Natural Physique Association. I'm just going to quickly check. I think they've already put the 2024 date, so they've not announced the date yet going into 2025. It doesn't look like, but that's a roundup, guys, of the 2025 shows. Okay, very quickly, because I know I said it would be done half an hour, like literally 10 seconds for each person. Go around, which natural show in the UK are you most excited about in 2025? Nat, let me go to you first.
Has to be the WNBF Supernaturals. I'm really, really excited to see what Steph does over that two-day show. And at the Supernaturals last year, there was a really good DJ, and I have to say that was literally like one of the highlights of the day, because it was like a rave going on all day, kept us going until 1 a.m. or whenever it was. So yeah, really excited to see that.
Yeah, Josh and Finn told me about it. Emily, UK natural show, which one?
It's got to be the Two Bros Pro Qualifiers, obviously. And I'm also super keen to see the Fit Model Standard and the Fit Model Pro Card winner. So
wait, the Two Bros have a natural pro qualifier in the UK?
Yeah.
Have
I don't know if it's in the UK. I don't know, but either way, I'm excited to see that one.
I don't know if we have got a UK one. I think I'll have to go back.
France again.
Yeah, that's it. Okay,
Yeah,
so the France one, of course, all the regionals. All right.
Yeah.
Ben, I bet I can guess which one you're going to say, but go on.
Yeah, AJ's show, but to be honest, like the BNBF as well, UKFBA, WNBF, all their finals, the standards just going up every year, so just all of them.
And I'm going to say, look, PCA British Finals for naturals, because it's the first one. I'm looking forward to seeing more. I can already, I know what production we can expect because they have a template go for the finals, but I'm more interested to see the competitors, especially if there's any coming from other federations. And of course, OCB having their first show. Look forward to seeing how that plays out. And shout out to the others as well. But yeah, guys, look, I really appreciate your time. Happy New Year. And Emily will be back on the next week with our first natural guest. Haven't sorted out yet, but I know we'll be soon. All right, take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye.